Thank you, Senator King. That was absolutely right in line with what I was going to be asking next. I was going to raise it in the context of...
I was afraid you were going to say absolutely wrong.
Oh, no, you're right on the money.
That long pause made me nervous.
Yeah, I wanted you to think about it. But you mentioned just the evolving nature of the energy markets and where we are, and an agency that is somewhat locked into your father's energy world. So whether it's the energy storage that you have raised, the integration issues that we know present themselves, the siting infrastructure. Siting has become more and more difficult and certainly more complicated, whether it's for a wind farm, transmission lines, natural gas pipelines, whatever it may be. And so how you define or arrive at the appropriate balance of the environmental concerns that need to be addressed with the needs of the public to have adequate infrastructure. These are important, these are imperatives, and finding that balance is important. We expect that you do that in your role. But to Senator King's point, I would certainly want your assurance that where you see, whether it's the bureaucratic red tape or just the overlay of regulations that have come over the years that have not yet been kind of cleaned out, that we can have your commitment to be working with the committee to let us know how we can make the process better, because I'm very worried that we don't have alignment here with where the industry is going and where our regulatory structure is currently. And I'm assuming you both agree with that and recognize that we need to be working together on this.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I absolutely do, and if confirmed, I would look forward to playing a role in that.
Great. And Mr. Glick, because of your experience on this committee, you have particular insight, I think, that you can hopefully share with us.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'd be glad to do that. As my colleagues know behind the panel, the dais there, that I already have a lot of ideas that I'd like to put forward, but certainly would be glad to work with you all on that.
Good. Mr. Nelson, let me ask you a question, and this relates to some of what we've seen in the news of late. The Park Service, some of the other agencies within DOI have been the subject of numerous investigative reports from Interior's Inspector General, subjects of which have even included the previous park director himself, topics ranging from sexual misconduct to really some major ethical violations. What do you think needs to be done to improve not only the Park Service, but within the Department of Interior as a whole to avoid this kind of conduct by employees in the future, and to really make sure that there is a more positive and conducive work environment for the employees and those who visit our public lands?
Yes, thank you. I fully support Secretary Zinke's zero-tolerance policy regarding that type of behavior. And those employees need to be put on notice that if they get out of line, then they will be terminated. There's no way that the department can operate with looking the other way on any of that type of behavior. And I would fully support that. I'd have to get in to see. I've read the public reports, but I don't know exactly all of the details. And so once I get in, I'd be more than willing to work to stamp that out. I totally agree that that type of behavior is unacceptable, particularly as a public servant.
We would certainly hope you make that priority. Thank you. Mr. Bailesh, I don't need to remind you of the important, the critical commitment that we have to our nation's First Peoples. Alaska is home to half of the tribes in the country. Through the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, there's a unique relationship between our federal tribes, between our tribes and the federal government. There has been a lot of discussion coming out of leaders in the state of Alaska that have been concerned that consultation between our tribes and the federal government and our agencies has been more of just a check-the-box exercise. And there has been frustration on many levels. I know that this is not just out of Alaska, but in other parts of the country as well. So I would like your commitment to conduct meaningful and consistent consultation with the tribes and Native organizations, not only in Alaska, but across the country, and to really involve them in appropriate decision-making that is relevant to them. And so I just would ask you to provide that level of commitment to us.
Madam Chair, I'm fully committed to making sure that we follow all of the law, but more importantly, that we actually pay attention to what we're told in those consultation sessions, and that we take into account those very real needs and concerns of the people who are most affected by the decisions made by the department.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Next, let's go to Senator Cortez Masto.